Hello, friends, and welcome to the Million Dollar Message. This is National Sales Director Kristen Sharp coming in with your Thursday thankful message. And happy 2025. Well, today I want to talk about the art of asking questions, in particular, team building coaching questions. Why do I say this? Well, if you are anything like me, when I first started my business, I, of course, had the desire to team build. In fact, I was so excited, I would throw up Mary Kay on people. Literally, I would sit down and share with them all the benefits, all the perks. I'd go through the entire acronym of Mrs. Cab. And what I realized is that I was completely overwhelming people. In fact, one of my most epic team building fails was when I busted open the Mary Kay autobiography and started reading from it, like story time at the library. Y'all, I look back and I just have to laugh. And it was truly out of enthusiasm and excitement. But what I realized is that it wasn't effective. I can now tell you that I have finished the National Court of Sharing every single year of my career because I figured it out. And even as a national sales director, I continue to team build every month. And it served me very, very well. In fact, I can tell you that the reason I was able to earn a Cadillac, to become a top director and a national sales director, had a lot to do with how many people I personally have recruited into this company. The key is the B, they like to say. And the only way to move up and to change your jacket color, right, from the beauty coat to the red jacket to the director's suit to the NSD suit, is through team building. So probably my biggest tip to be an effective team builder is to really listen. I truly believe that the best team builders are the best listeners. And they're able to also ask effective coaching questions. And then stop talking and just listen. So I want to share with you, based on what people say to me as an objection or a worry or a concern of Mary Kay or starting their own business, based on what they say is the question that I asked. And so I'm going to just share with you, I would say, some of the most common objections that people have given me and then how I would respond to that. So I don't know if you've heard this one, but several people tell me that they're not the sales type. Have you heard that? They're not the sales type. And I like to say things like, well, what do you love about our Mary Kay products? What do you love about our Mary Kay products? Or I ask them, what are your favorite products? Or who do you think would support you in business? Or what do you think about having no quotas in Mary Kay? Or if you did this business, how would you want people to think of you? Or when we had our appointment, did you feel like I was a pushy salesperson? Okay, now, certainly I'm not going to ask them all those questions, but I would choose something along those lines if they said I'm not the sales type, based on what I know about them, based on my interaction with them. Do you see? So I'm not trying to convince them that they're not the sales type. I'm just asking them a question. You see, when they process and answer the question, many times they actually overcome their own objection. And that's really what's most powerful. Not you telling them, but them figuring it out on their own. Okay? So let's say someone says, I don't have the time, or I'm too busy. Have you heard that one? I get that one a lot, right? I don't have the time. I'm too busy to do Mary Kay. I like to ask them this. Well, how long have you been busy? How long have you been busy? Or when do you think you won't be busy? I mean, seriously, like, when do you think you won't be busy? Right? And many times they're like, yeah, you're right. I've always been busy. That's just who I am. I like to stay busy. I mean, it's just interesting. When you ask the question, you stop talking and you listen what they reveal. Or I would say, if nothing changed in 5 to 10 years from now, what would you have missed out on because of not having enough time? If nothing changed in 5 to 10 years from now, what would you have missed out on because of not having enough time? Or, this is usually my go-to. Well, how much time do you think a Mary Kay business takes? How much time do you think a Mary Kay business takes? Y'all, it's so interesting when you ask this question. Many people think, oh, it's 40 hours. It's like a full-time job. They don't realize that this can be extremely part-time. And of course, we have no quotas. There's not a certain amount of time you have to put in. The more time you put in, obviously, the bigger your return. But that's always surprising to me because people really usually answer like 30, 40, or 50 hours. Okay, or I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Now, I don't hear this as much now that our starter kit's $35, but I will tell you, sometimes I still get it. I don't have the money. So I ask them, who do you know who would support you in getting started? Who do you know that would support you in getting started? Many times people say, you know what? I think my dad would loan me the money. Or, I think my aunt or my grandma would. Okay. Or I might say, so tell me, when will you be in a position to have complete control over having a disposable income whenever you want or need it? So tell me, when do you think you're going to be in a position to have complete control over having a disposable income whenever you need or want it? Okay, a lot of times that question prompts them to really say, wow, okay, like you're right, I've never been in that position. I need to change that. But again, it's not you saying that, right? It's you asking the question, you listening, them thinking, processing it, and then literally coming up with the solution. Or I'd say, how do you feel about saving up that $35 this week? Or, is there anything you could sell to make that $35? You guys, people put stuff up on Facebook Marketplace. I mean, it's crazy what they come up with to get that money, okay? Or sometimes I get this, I'm not like you. I would say, well, what qualities do you possess that you would want to share with others? What qualities do you possess that you'd want to share with others? And then I might say, well, how can these qualities be used in this business? Or what training would you need to feel equipped to do this business? What training would you need to feel equipped to do this business? Or sometimes I get this. You might have got this. I want to think about it. So I ask them, well, how much time would you like to think about it? When can I call you? Let's set up a time right now. Or what other questions do you have to have answered to help you make a decision? What other questions do you need to have answered to help you make a decision? Oh my gosh, I get this a lot, probably because I'm around women with young kids because I have young kids, but they say things like, I'm going to do this when my kids are older. And a lot of times I just reply back by asking a question, what amount of flexibility is important to you to raise your kids? What amount of flexibility is important to you to raise your kids? Or who else do you know that works with small kids? Or I love this one. How do you think your Mary Kay business could influence your children? Or how much time would you be able to do this business keeping in mind the ages of your kids? How much time would you need to be able to do this business keeping in mind the age of your kids? Or, I get this one. I have to ask my husband. Have you got that? I have to ask my husband. And I usually say, well, how do you think he's going to feel about it? Or what questions do you think he's going to have? Based on what she says, I say, well, how are you going to answer that? I'm not telling her how to answer her husband. She knows her husband better than I do for sure, right? I'm setting her up for success. Or what do you think would make him feel comfortable? Or how does he usually support you when you want to do something new? That's a good one. I find out if he is a supporter or if he is he slashes any idea that she has, right? All right. I might even ask her, when would you like to discuss this with him? Do you think he'd be open to meeting with me too? I mean, I've done that sometimes where I've met with the wife and the husband. Okay. All right. Sometimes people say, Kristen, I love my job. I love my job. That's their objection. And I say, well, could you use an extra $100 or $200 a week? Or what do you think of having this be something fun you can do on the side, but not becoming or replacing your full-time career, just on the side for fun? Or what could Mary Kay provide you that your current job does not? What could Mary Kay provide you that your current job does not? Oh my gosh, you've probably heard this one. I knew someone that did Mary Kay, or my aunt did Mary Kay, and she quit. She was terrible at this. I'm probably going to be too. I like to say, well, what do you think is the worst thing that could happen if it didn't turn out the way you expected? And what would be the best thing that could happen? Sometimes I flat out ask her, like, what is your fear? Or what would need to be different about your experience? Or I say, Mary Kay is not for everyone, but how do you think it could impact you personally? Okay. Or it's not the right time. I get that. Kristen, this sounds really good. I just don't think this is the right time. Then I would say, well, what would make it the perfect time? Or how do you feel about a business working for you versus you working for a business? Or what if you started now and exceeded your expectations? Or flat out I say, well, tell me more about what makes this not the right time. Tell me more about why this is not the right time. You guys, it's interesting as they start to regurgitate why it's not the right time that they actually figure out it is the right time. Okay, so here's my point. I'm hoping you were taking some notes, but if anything, you caught this concept. The best recruiters in Mary Kay are the best listeners and the best question askers. And truly, you guys, when you're asking the question, you're not thinking of how you're going to reply. You're truly listening to what she has to say. Anytime someone gives me an objection, I ask a question back. And sometimes it's, tell me more about that. Because I truly want to understand. And I'm not asking these questions out of interrogation. I'm asking them because my heart is to truly see if Mary Kay could be a great fit for her. Sometimes people just don't even know what they don't know. You guys, sharing the Mary Kay opportunity has been the most rewarding thing. I love sharing the products, and I love leading with sharing the products. But I get the most joy out of sharing this opportunity because I have seen firsthand how it positively impacts families. Because I'm proof of growing up pink. My mom started this business when I was 5 years old, and I would have never, ever chose this as my career if my childhood growing up wasn't absolutely over-the-top exceptional. I am more passionate now about Mary Kay than I've ever been before because I'm excited that my kids, too, can grow up pink. So my prayer is that you will pass it on, just like Mary Kay Ash asked us to do. Who in this new year could you sit down, share our products with, and share the opportunity, and truly do an interview where you ask questions, you share the marketing plan, you find out what their concerns are, and then you ask questions back. All right, this is National Sales Director Kristen Sharp signing off. Make today a day that counts.